And today is World Water Day. It's a day aimed at bringing the attention of nations to the global water crisis and negative repercussions of contaminated water on the human species. Core focus of World Water Day is to support the achievement of Sustainable Development Goal 6, Water and Sanitation for All by 2030. The theme for this year's commemoration is Groundwater, Making Invisible Visible, focuses on exploring, protecting and sustainably using groundwater, which is central to surviving and adapting to climate change and meeting the needs of a growing population. Let's have our discussion shed more light into this development. Joining us is an environmental conservationist, Temitope Okuno. Thank you so much for joining us on the media news. How the world is facing dirty water, floods, and scarcity. What do you think is needed for effective solutions?
Thank you very much for having me. Happy World Water Day to you. So yes, it's World Water Day and everyone is celebrating to throw more light on scarcity, the pollution of fresh water and the exploitation by human activities such as excessive pollution and groundwater contaminating waste, which are mainly because of the increasing population and economic growth. Well, I'd like to start by saying that it is important to note that water covers almost 70% of our planet, and fresh water only amounts to about 3% of it, and which means out of this, 2/3 is frozen, inaccessible and unavailable to use. But we need the fresh water to drink, do domestic things, household use, irrigate our farmland and gardens. But right now, billions of people do not have access to fresh water or even safe drinking water across the world. And about 2 billion people as well find it very hard, difficult to find fresh water for at least 1 month of the year. And because of that, we know that the value of water is priceless. And when we talk about water, we cannot talk about water without mentioning the Sustainable Development Goal 6, which is sanitation and water. Now, there's an urgent action to ensure safe, clean, drinkable water and sanitation in the next few years, by 2030. Our inaction to take these adequate measures or steps to preserve our little freshwater table now, it will jeopardize the valuable resource for our children and in the future. Now, the team says that groundwater, it's an invisible, making invisible,
Visible.
Making the invisible visible, throws more light and visibility on the importance of groundwater. Many people do not understand what, the concept of the groundwater is.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually trying to ask you, that, you need to talk to us about what it's actually meant to, or the need to now preserve this groundwater all over the world, especially, let's even bring it home in Nigeria.
Okay, so there's what we call the freshwater table. It's just between the rocky ground below and our soil. Now, so many people do a lot to pollute that freshwater table through pesticides, use, toxic dissemination of chemicals into the water and all of that. Though it isn't invisible, but its impact is actually very visible everywhere. It is out of sight, but can be likened to a hidden treasure that enriches our lives. So what can be done? We need to make sure that people are enlightened, number one. We need them to be enlightened on the fact that, yes, we have this very little or percentage of drinking water or fresh water available. We need to keep it safe. We need to keep it, for future use for the next generation. We need to reduce toxicity into that system. Now, many people who farm today do not realize that the chemicals they pour on their farmland or their gardens or the chemicals from industrial companies are actually telling on the freshwater reserve. And for every chemical you pour into your soil, thinking that it will go somewhere, because nothing actually goes anywhere. It goes somewhere. And when it goes that way, it means that you are, contaminating the little water reserve that we have.
I'm trying to understand the logic behind this, because we're made to understand that the earth is so, so beautifully produced, created, that anything you pour on the ground, it could be water, it could be, no matter how dirty it is, it has the capacity or capability to filter, to filter it and maintain pure water deep down the ground. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So why are we worried about polluting what is invisible that we are trying to make visible at the end of the day?
But do you know that below the soil, we have water? We have water below the soil. And it is because of that logic that I would recommend and advise. In fact, the UN also advises that the pollution that is being dropped on our soil should be managed. Now, we know the soil filters and all of that, but do you know how many people we are in the world? Let's just come to Lagos, for example. We have like 22 million people, and in Nigeria we have over 200. Now, when we have a large percentage of people doing the same thing and destroying the top layer of our soil, it would definitely, get to the water. And apart from that, there's something we do at the foundation. We do a lot of cleanups and, use this opportunity to relate this information to them or sensitize the community people. There's so many waste being dropped into the ocean, causing a lot of animal and aquatic life being endangered, and invariably we are endangered as well. Now, if you look at my eyes this morning, just before I came on to your show, I had a little, problem itching and all of that. That was because I ate crayfish. Now, crayfish is something that I've adopted into my meal so that I can cut down on a lot of toxic things that is added into our meal, because I grow my own food. But then again, if something as little as the crayfish is being affected because of pollution, then we know that we are in danger. Right? People pour in a lot of things into the water, into the ocean. We come in every Saturday to clean up and sensitize the communities. A whole lot of aquatic animals are dying. People are getting affected. Human health is getting affected. The children particularly are getting affected. If we're not looking at the climate changes, right? We should start looking at the human health and the effects it has.
Absolutely, which is the bottom line.
Particularly our food.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So if you look after our climate, look after the cosmos, everyone will also be in good condition. I believe that's your point.
Yes.
Environmental conservationist, Temitope Okono, thank you so much for your insight, and sorry about your side.
Thank you.